Hi, and welcome to the Smart Chiropractor. I'm Dr. Jeff Langmaid here with Dr. Jason Deitch, and every week in 30 minutes or less, we break down and showcase to you how you can become a smart chiropractor. And what that means to us is creating predictable and stable income, what we call payday practice. In episode 1, we discussed why your chiropractic marketing is not enough. We talked mindset, broke it down in a way to set the stage for the rest of season 1. And today we're gonna talk all about why your chiropractic advertising is not enough. And let's start right there. Why is there so much confusion between marketing and advertising? How do we define the differences? That's a great starting point.
Yeah, most people, most chiropractors go, I need more new patients, got to kick in the marketing, get me more new ones. And so that's the mindset. It's kind of like, I'm in pain, get me an aspirin or crack my neck so I feel better. And you kind of go, oh, you don't get it if that's where you're coming from. Chiropractors are sometimes guilty of that kind of immediate gratification type. If I come to you, will my neck feel better? Well, there's a healing process. It should. When will it feel better? I can't promise you, but if you follow my care plan, you will heal. And in time should feel better, assuming you don't go re-injure yourself again. I mean, that's really the true answer to that question. And that's really the true answer to any marketing question, which is, if you put your message out there and you give people an opportunity to sort of go, well, that makes sense to me versus who needs that? That doesn't appeal to me. Then in time, you will build a following of people that go, I like you, I like what you're saying, that's important to me. And you'll build an audience or a client base that wants to stay with you on an ongoing basis because of what you offer, as opposed to what most ads do, right? Why is most advertising not enough? Because most advertising is designed to do one very specific thing, and that's to get a breathing body with a spine in the office for the lowest cost possible. Is that really what you want in your office? So it becomes this sort of backward, almost self-inflicted torture that we, somehow have been misguided to believe that we just got to get new people in the door. And if they've got a spine and they've got pain, and in some cases only if they have insurance, then we can help them. But if you limit your message to the concept of, I need to get an immediate ROI, which is the way many chiropractors have been taught to think mistakenly, in my opinion, then you're going to say things that are different to get them in than you would if you were explaining the answer to the question, what benefits would it be to me long-term and short-term for me to develop a relationship with you and your practice and start learning from you and start receiving your services on an ongoing basis? That's probably a different explanation than, what should I put in the ad?
Yeah, there's a key component to it, and it's really that advertising is a subset of marketing, and it should be is arbitrary, but 10 to 20% of the overall marketing can and be around advertising. If you have very, very strong marketing, you might even have less than that. It's a choice, not a has to. You have to market your practice. It's how you communicate, right? But relying only on advertising not only is super vulnerable from a practice perspective. Advertising on a single platform always costs more for decreased results, and then you re-strategize to try to sort of hack the system and create that more margin and ROI again. But so many docs, I feel like that's sort of lost on them, and something I know we talk about, and I'll go controversial here, is there's so many advertisers in the chiropractic space that do just this bottom of the basement garbage advertising. The easiest thing for the company to do is to create a discount offer. It doesn't mean it's the best way to get it. Like, they're not doing any top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. If we talk about that marketing world, they're just saying, well, that's work. What's the easiest way? And the easiest way for us as a company to scale, if I'm the advertising company, is to say, well, we just create discount offers because it's going to get some sort of activity and action, and then you just try to justify it to the client, aka the chiropractor, saying, look at all these leads that we got you. And a lead is also not the same as a patient. The lead is not a person. The lead is a theoretical maybe in the future. Whereas somebody choosing you because you've built trust, because you've gone about this in a way where you've communicated, marketed your practice built upon trust, brand, etc., they're ready to come in and pay. They're ready to come in and have the experience. And this ties into sort of, I guess, our strategic direction about it, which is teaching and inviting consistently. What does that mean to you?
You know, I'm going to summarize in a just slightly different way what I just heard you say that I think just is really important for people to make sure they understand. And that is there's sort of two mindset choices, right? And this is not just chiropractors, this is every business. Option one, and logic would actually support the concept that you're in business to give people what they want. Okay, so if they want pain relief and if they want their insurance to cover it, my job is to give people what they want, right? There's a rationale to that. And some people can make a living doing that. There's another rationale that says, I do what I do because I'm passionate about it, I love it, I'm great at it, I'm very skilled at it. And if more people understood what I really do, regardless of calling it chiropractic or anything, but if they understood the life-enhancing benefits that they could and would experience if they were to develop, not just to come in for a check, a visit, a consult, a conversation, but to learn enough even before they ever make it to my practice, right? That's the way the world is these days. We're all searching on search engines and connecting on social, and most people are addicted to their digital device of some sort, computer, mobile device. There's no shortage of people with a device in their face to give them information that people are bragging about binge watching something all the time, right? So people are there. The question is, are you, right? Are you putting out your real message that would give somebody the opportunity to have an aha moment, to go, I didn't realize that's what chiropractic is. I didn't realize that's what chiropractors do. But what you're saying resonates with me. How you're presenting resonates with me. The approaches you take and the goals you have and the people you serve resonate with me. We all have an energetic signature of some sort. And we forget that. We just want to jump into what's the script, what's the ad, what's the thing that's going to do the work. But we can't forget the fact that it's, as I've said before, who we are that really drives the what we do. So teach and invite consistently is really sort of our simple way, tick, teach, invite consistently. Hopefully chiropractors don't forget that one, because that's the formula. And this is relatively new to the profession because these technologies are relatively new to the profession. Historically, the largest practices, the Reggie Gold practices and the large, massive practices followed the exact same principle, but they did it in pre-technology ways, right? They had large health talks once a week, once a month, whatever it would be. Dozens, if not hundreds of people would fill a room and learn from you teaching them something. At the end of your workshop, orientation, call it what you want, you invited them to take a next step. And if you taught them well, but people forget this, not just with your information, but with your inspiration. I'm under the belief, even here, most people are not going to understand most of the things we say. You reference top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel. I guarantee most chiropractors don't even know what kind of funnel you're referring to. All right? And that's exactly what happens to people in practice. They're like, oh, your vertebra, your spine, your ilium, your iliac crest, your your imbibition of your disc, your subluxation. They're like, I'm glad you know what you're talking about. So we forget that people do business with people they like, and that's on every level. There's nobody that has the time or skill set to objectively evaluate all the information to come to the ultimate right conclusion. What we all do is we take some time to either go to a search engine, which is the last place you should go to find a chiropractor, in my opinion. Most people go to their friends, family members, people they trust, people they work with, and ask questions. And we learn about their experience. And so teaching and inviting consistently really is giving people an opportunity to get to know you, get to know not necessarily about what chiropractic is, but what you can do to enhance people's lives. And there's going to be, if you do a decent job, not even an amazing job, but a decent job, and you insert your passion. We talked about Simon Sinek's start with why. Not just here's what I do as a technician, but here's why I do it. Here's what drives me. Here's the kind of human being I am, the kind of person I am, the kind of values I have, the things I stand for, and the vision I have, for our community. In many cases, we'll connect with a cause in some cases because we want to say, this is what I stand for. My friend Patrick Gentempo wrote the book, Your Stand is Your Brand. It's really putting who you are and why you do what you do before you get into the technical aspects of what you do. All of that is just a way of teaching and inviting consistently and trusting that when you put out your message, that if you do it consistently, and that is the key, you can't forget the C, if you use the right technologies, if you teach and invite consistently, you will attract those people that are most attracted to you. And what's great about that is that those people that have listened, watched, read your information, who have learned from you consistently, and then show up at your office or then make a phone call and say, yeah, I'd like a telehealth appointment. Yeah, I'd like a consultation over the phone. Yeah, I'd like to come on in and see you. You're almost in a micro celebrity status because they have learned from you. When I read your book, I watched your videos. Even here, we see people at events, they go, oh, I saw your video series. There's an authority that takes place for authors and people on television. In this case, they call social media people influencers because that's how it works. And if more chiropractors would start embracing that, sort of put away some of the bad habits they might have learned with all good intentions, and recognize the power of today's communication tools and the power of their diversity in expressing themselves to a specialized market, not necessarily to everyone who's got a spine, they're going to find amazing results, not just immediately, but most importantly, long-term.
Yeah. The authority and empathy is, story brand concept, right? Establishing that by teaching and inviting consistently. There's one thing I'll disagree with you on. The worst place to find a chiropractor is Yelp. They'll hold you hostage. Great place to find a restaurant.
Well, you probably got the Yelp by searching.
Great place to find a restaurant. Horrible place to find a chiropractor. But the teach and invite consistently is it's so important because you can almost bring it to any single aspect, right? If anybody watches Gary Vee, he'll say jab, 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 right hook. I mean, I even think of things like you watch NFL football, the commentators are breaking down the plays because the more you understand the game, the more likely you are to watch more games, right? And the same thing I think holds true, different application when we're talking about how a chiropractor would approach things. But teaching teaching, right? I think about educating being entertaining, being educational, and really engaging with the person is the teach component of it. Invite is what some may in the marketing world call the call to action. The invitation is the call to action, to be clear about that. And consistently is to do it time and time again. Let's say somebody listening right now say, consistently. Once a month sounds good to me. That's consistent. What does consistently and being consistent mean to you? How do you define it?
Yeah. Well, listen, I guess my question is, how often are people on their mobile devices?
4 hours a day.
So it doesn't have to be 4 hours a day, but it should be daily. This is really, it's the exact right question. What we tend to say is the two missing links for most chiropractors are content and consistency. What do I say? How often do I say it? And so, the simple answer is what you should say are things that are going to start the relationship, that are going to awaken people in a positive way, that's going to get them to want to learn more. You know, these words mean things, right? Where we believe, if you're a chiropractor and you believe you can generally manipulate, that's different than somebody who says, no, the more specific you are, the more effective you'll be. And that's the way I kind of feel about words, right? The more specific you are with your words, the more effective you're going to be. So we call it teaching. The question is, is anybody learning?
That's a good question.
And so when we approach it, and these are the nuances that make the difference, when we approach teaching from, I have to teach them what I do, that's different than I have to teach them about the things they most want to learn about. Those are two different topics. So, content has to really be relevant to what your target audience, not your every audience, but who you're really speaking to, who you really want to work with as a client. The more specific your message, your content, your information, what you're teaching can be relevant to them and the benefits they can experience in their life, the more they're going to learn.
Break down some examples.
We've got, for example, a friend who runs, I think probably the largest golf-oriented practice on the planet. Greg Rose runs the Titleist Performance Institute. One of the best examples, right? So, when we were having lunch with him, he was telling us a story, and he said, I told people that I love golf so much that I'm going to have a golf exclusive practice. And I think he said everyone told him he was insane.
Yeah.
Right? And you might say, golf exclusive? That's impossible. Is there that many golfers? What about other people that have spine? All the what ifs. And yet he goes, no, this is my passion. I love it. I dig deep. I teach golfers. He teaches golfers what they need to know to be great golfers. He teaches them body mechanics. He teaches them about how to use the body, understand the body, how to reduce the body's risk of injury, how to increase the body's use of power, force, and strength. If you're a golfer, you are dialed into what he's teaching. And wouldn't you know it, that a chiropractic adjustment just happens to be part of that process. Now, if he took the opposite approach like most chiropractors and said, let me teach you about chiropractic, let me teach you about your spine, let me teach you about the discs and the nerves and the subluxations and all the different neurological things, most golfers would not have stuck around that long to recognize the benefit they can experience. They would go with their prejudice, their prejudgment. Oh, chiropractor? Back pain, neck pain? Don't have it? Don't need it. So that's just one, maybe extreme, maybe not. But there's plenty of people that have specialty practices. We work with pregnant moms only, right? We work with kids only, or at least we specialize in this. And kids is one of those, again, sort of perfect examples. If you specialize in kids, the assumption is that parents wouldn't be welcome. But no kid gets there by themselves.
Yeah, very rarely.
And just about every parent who listens to what you teach about their children comes to the conclusion to say, well, doesn't all that apply to me too? Yes. Do you accept parents also? And maybe you do, maybe you don't, right? So those are just examples of, sort of the spectrum of what should I be teaching and how consistently should I be teaching it? How consistently? My answer is daily. Now, that doesn't mean that you've got to take your time every single day necessarily. There are smart ways to use time management to create content and then share it daily. There are ways, obviously, that we teach to say, hey, listen, there are certain things other companies or people can sort of teach for me, so that, 90 to 95% of the teaching and connecting, and again, one of my favorite lines is that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, which means instead of just jumping into, hey, let me teach you about what I sell, maybe we got to get to know each other a little bit. The idea of all relationships, in most cases, most of the times, is usually the gesture of, you want to grab a beer? You want to have some coffee and get to know each other a little bit to see if we want to have this connection or not? It's not just a transaction, it's a let's learn about each other a little bit to see if this is something. Hey, you're a good dude. Hey, I share values with you. Oh, I didn't know you know those people also. Those are my best friends. You're their best. Wow. Oh, this is great. And we have a relationship that now would encourage me to refer my friends and family to you. Why? Because you're the cheapest, closest option? No, because you taught me what a segmental dysfunction, subluxation, neurological facility, because you taught me that, I'm now going to refer everybody? No, because I understand the implications of what you're teaching me because I trusted you and cared enough to want to listen, because you were teaching me about me. Not about you, not about what you sell, but about me and how what you do and what you sell affects me in my life in a positive way beyond temporary pain relief. So daily, but you got to make sure you got the right messaging.
That's a key part, and that's somewhere where I'd like to go, because the messaging is really key. You brought up a word, specialization. I think of it as positioning, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes the state boards get finicky about specialization as opposed to just we really focus on this. Yeah. We're positioned this way. But it's ironic and crazy. There's just so many docs and listening, watching. It's like, but my community doesn't understand what I do. Well, do you tell them? No. There you go. Yeah, and it's one of those. It's one of the things that I know. There's like this very popular website company. I'm not even exactly sure which one, but it's like a lot of their templates have like this wellness awaits you, and it's like it's so nondescript. Like, what are you standing for? If I'm a chiropractor and I go to a chiropractor's website and I can't really even tell who they're trying to talk to and what they're actually offering with any sort of real clarity, imagine somebody who has no background in chiropractic, that has no understanding at all. You're actually just making it difficult for people to make decisions, and your marketing should be, in theory, making it easier for people to make decisions. And it comes down to positioning, it comes down to call to action, and it comes down to, are you teaching and inviting consistently? And you can have different messages. You don't have to teach the same thing. You might choose to, we'll talk about in future episodes, monthly campaigns, etc., where you can choose and coordinate your message for the month, for the week, whatever it might be. But you need to get out there and have the conversation and sort of have that invitation and or call to action that inspires somebody to want to take the next step.
That's where, chiropractors, I think, have the greatest opportunity ever, even during these times. I might even say especially during these times, all right? I mean, listen, people are wanting to take less drugs, not more. People are wanting to go to the hospital and to the doctor less, not more. People are looking to improve their health more, not less, right? The new normal happens to be a good thing, in my opinion, not all of the extra things that necessarily go with it. But ultimately, if you think about it, what we're saying is, wow, look how important it is to take care of our health. Look at all the things we're willing to sacrifice and do because our health is so important. That's a message we need to run with. So I think part of what I hope chiropractors start understanding is, you mentioned somebody gets to a website and sees these words, whatever that may be. How are they getting to the website, right? So where is the teaching and inviting begin? And I think that's where there's a ton of confusion, is that there is a method to the madness. Most chiropractors are just living in the madness. They don't understand the method. And the method really is to strategically build a following of people who like to learn from you. If they've gone to a search engine and landed on your website, I'm not going to say it's too late, but that's not how most people are learning about you. They are implying and imposing their, I need a chiropractor, which typically means I need immediate pain relief. And they're not in the understanding of, wow, you're different. Wow, I understand what you offer beyond temporary pain relief. Not that there's anything wrong with that, except for those chiropractors that practice that way and wish it was different. Those that go, why does everybody come to me just, looking to get out of pain and leave and hope I take their insurance? And that's the chicken or the egg you brought up earlier. So I think the key is understanding really how to use these power tools, how to use Facebook, how to use Instagram, how to use email, how to use, the video displays in your office to maximize your connection with people and inspire them to take a next step, right? When building relationships, you don't just sort of meet someone and go, hey, want to go back to my place, right? That's what a lot of people do. They're like, hey, you want to come in for an exam? I don't even know you.
Yeah.
Let's get to know each other a little bit first, So unless they're desperate, like, oh my God, I can't move. You'll help me, right? I mean, there's desperate people that go, you want to go back to my place? Sure, let's go back to your place. I'm not sure that's exactly who you want to bring back to your place. So there's just, we've lost focus. Teaching and inviting consistently, coincidentally, really is the solution. It's a mindset first. And, I hope, when teaching, one of the goals in teaching is to not just disseminate information, but it's actually to encourage people to want to learn even more. And hopefully we've actually done that here. Instead of just going, well, here's the data, right? Which anybody could go online and search for if they know what to search for. It's about connection. It's about inspiration. It's about people going, wait a minute, you're stretching my imagination here of what's possible for me. I like that. That's in my best interest. I should figure out more how to do that. And if you are the source of that inspiration first, then you will be able to be the source of the information second. And that's really, I think, sort of the sequence that we forget. We just want to get right into, lay down, let me adjust you. That's what I love to do. What do you mean you don't understand us? What do you mean you want to take drugs? Don't you know they're trying to kill you? Like all this stuff that's like, whoa, what are you talking about? So there's so many power tools beyond advertisements, which is really what this segment was about. If docs are not using those other tools, they're just unfortunately being very limited. It's like, somebody who comes to the practice and goes, I like aspirin. I'll use aspirin. Thanks, aspirin. See, I feel better. I take it, I feel better. Works. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, episode 1, we talked all about mindset. This episode's been really about exploring, how marketing is bigger, wider, and more than just advertising and the messaging, right? How do you teach and invite consistently? I'm excited because next episode, we're going to start talking email, and that's one of those channels. We talked a little bit of social. We're going to go through that on a follow-up episode in detail, social platforms. But next episode, we are going to talk all about email. How can you teach and invite consistently? By having the right mindset and by getting some of those tactical aspects, subject lines, body. What are the best ways to go about it? What are some campaigns that docs probably should have in their practice to build relationships? And if you are looking to build and grow your practice, get more sustainable and predictable income, head over to smartchiropractor.com/genius. You'll be able to pick up our smart guides, and they walk through every single aspect of what we've been discussing and what we're going to keep discussing on this Smart Chiropractor podcast. Make it a great day. For Dr. Jason Deitch, I'm Dr. Jeff Langmaid. We'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.
This episode brought to you by the Smart Chiropractor. At the Smart Chiropractor, we solve the 2 biggest chiropractic marketing challenges: content and consistency. We combine an incredible content library with powerful automation tools to supercharge your marketing. The result? More new patients, more referrals, and more reactivations with automated digital content marketing. Here's what Dr. Matthew Barnhart had to say. We have loved this. We have already had 5 patient reactivations from the emails in 1 week. To learn more and get started, visit thesmartchiropractor.com today.